Now, imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside, and seeing what looks like God, Jesus Christ in the sky, telling you to obey his commands. Imagine hearing a voice in your head that aren't your thoughts. It's them. It's the elites. It's the globalists putting these thoughts in your head. It's the people behind the curtain that are pulling the screens, using technology to fake the second coming of Jesus Christ. It might sound like a fictional tale. It might sound crazy, but it's not, because this is what we call Project Bluebeam.
Wow. Oh my gosh. This dude well, first of all, he's too intense. I don't know the way it's like he's like half-hearted, but also like trying to it's like he's like half-hearted, but also trying to be really intense, which is an odd combination there. It just seems really strange. Anyway, we're gonna watch a few minutes of this. I don't know if we're gonna get into the whole thing, but I just I just want to watch a minute of it. It's this End Times Productions channel, and it's hilarious. It's like Conspiracy City. So we're gonna check it out. I am Brentley, and this is the channel where we use irreverent humor to heal from religious trauma. I'm Brentley. This is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. So, like I said, this is something about something called Project Bluebeam, and conspiracy stuff. It's wild how the religious end time stuff gets like mixed up with these wild, insane conspiracy theories constantly. But this was right in my wheelhouse when I was, I don't know, I want to say like about 10 years ago. This was what I was into. It's all about Alex Jones, the globalists are coming. And, then it would mix in with the end time stuff, and it's whatever, it's because I always said it's not, the revelation is happening. We just can't see it because it's all secret, and that was my excuse for why nothing was happening, basically. But there you go.
Project Bluebeam. We're going to read this whole book in a second. It's not very long. It's like 30 pages or something.
I don't think I'm going to be here for all that. Just saying. I think we're going to cut out of here before we get too deep into that book. But I want to hear at least the introduction, maybe the preface. I don't know.
We're going to read all of it. And you might find it pretty interesting what's in here. So stick with me here, folks. So what I just described is what Project Bluebeam is all about. This is the end game, everybody. And they're getting ready to flip the switch, according to some people. Now, that's up for debate, and we can talk about that a little bit too. But
it's funny because he's like, this is not make-believe. It's as real can get. And then like 2 seconds later, according to some people anyway, I don't know. It's up for debate, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's real?
We're going to open up the book and see exactly what's inside. But first, we're going to talk about it because it came out in the early 1990s. A guy named Sergei Monast, he was a journalist in Canada. He wrote this book. He called it Project Bluebeam. He said he had insider
info. Every time I see that name now, I always think of Serge. I know that's wrong. I know, but it's like that's all. Anytime I see Sergei written down, I'm like, oh, it's Serge from Axel Foley. I don't know, Beverly Hills Cop. It's called Axel Foley. I don't care. Whatever.
Information from NASA and the United Nations.
That's why I was so excited about the latest one. I'm like, hey, they named it what I call it. They named it the thing I call it. Anyway, the Axel show, the Axel movie. Anyway,
connected all these dots, and he found some plans that they were actually trying to do this thing. And they had a plan for a time when basically they're going to unite the countries and the religions of the world to create a new world government.
That's going great right now, man. Yeah, all those countries united right now. They all are just getting along so well.
World order, a new world religion. Believe it or not, that's up to you. Some people discount this book, saying he made all of it up. Whether he made it all up or not, we can't really know. But what we can do is read the book.
You can't know. You can't know at all. It could be just actually happening, but it's not. Well, when you can't tell that it's actually happening, but it could be happening. You don't know.
See if there's anything in there that makes sense. All right. So
if there's anything, what a low bar. It's like, all right, let's read this thing to see if, well, anything at all makes sense in there. I don't even know if the words are going to be in order. Actually, there's going to be kind of.
According to him, NASA and the United Nations started cooking up this plan, this major plan to take over the world. And how? Well, basically by faking a spiritual event so big, so real looking that people would just give up everything, basically give up their whole lives and go along with it. All right. And what am I talking about?
What I mean, like this half-hearted, like, but trying to be like overly impactful thing. Like it's just weird. It just sounds like you're like you've read the script for like the 10th time and you just don't care anymore. That's what it sounds like.
Right here. Well, we're talking about giant holograms in the sky.
Oh,
I know it sounds crazy, but the technology does exist. So picture this.
So we go outside and we see a holographic Jesus just in the sky being like, yo, look, do whatever the wealthy people want you to. They're taking over the world now, but it's cool. It's all in my plan. Do whatever the wealthy people want. I mean, that's sort of the ironic part is that's kind of is what's happening, but in a very different way. Now with holograms, now just billionaires buying up social media platforms and presidents making it so that truth doesn't matter, and the gaslighting is just never ending, and so it doesn't. Anyway, the tribalism and the gaslighting and all. Anyway, basically what he's saying, but different.
Jesus comes back. He's in the sky. He shows up in one section of the world, and then in another section of the world, Muhammad shows up, and then Buddha in the other section, and all of these figures. Jesus
is Buddha supposed to come back? I don't think Buddha. I don't think Buddha. There's no like Buddha coming back with a sword tongue, fire eyes from the sky type of situation, as far as I understand. I think that's you're reading into that. Like, it's funny when they just make all of their religions, like all world religions, their religion. Do they have a prophecy that Muhammad's coming back? Right, he's going to come back, and there's going to be the 1,000-year reign of Allah, and then the scorpion tailed, lion teeth, human face, woman hair, crown wearing things. They don't have that. They don't. That's not. Oh. Well, I thought other religions are weird if they don't have that. That's really strange. Like, why would they not do that?
Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and all these other figures are basically telling the world to unite under a one ruler, under one world religion, because everything they knew about their own religion was misinterpreted, was fake, was a scam. And now this new religion will unite the people of the world under one government, under one religion.
Oh.
And it's not just visuals, guys, that they're using.
God.
They have technology.
It's like if you really think that the world's going to be united, and religions are going to be the most divisive thing on planet Earth is religion, and you think we're going to all be united in it, planet wide, united in the same religion? You're crazy. You're crazy. You're not paying attention to anything.
To basically beam these voices directly into your head. I know it sounds crazy, and we'll get into the book in just a second.
They're gonna beam these voices right into your head. What? Like, why not just use some like audio technology? You're already doing the hologram thing, and you don't need to put the voice inside our brain. You can just play it out loud so we can all hear it. I feel like that's just as effective.
But the technology is there, okay? And
are you sure there is? Oh, there's beam voices into your brain technology. Are you sure, man? Like, where can we? Citation needed.
The plan is to make people hear things that aren't there, and to make them believe that it is God speaking to them directly.
Why don't they just make it so that the voices are there? And then that is still God talking to them directly. This doesn't make any sense.
So if you believe God is speaking to you directly, audibly, you're going to listen to that.
Wait, audibly? Hold on. Is it audibly or is it your thoughts? Because it's like you're making it. Because if it's in your head and not out loud, then it's then it's in your head, it's in your thoughts, it's not out loud, it's not audibly. If it's audibly, that means you hear it audibly. I don't know what you like.
And especially if you have no frame of reference for what the voice is, you believe it's God and it's telling you it's God. Most people, okay, I'm not saying you watching because you're probably smarter than that.
Oh,
but most people are going to.
Thank you so much for that. You're probably smart too. Okay, buddy. I'm tip my hat right back at you, buddy.
Stop what they're doing and they're going to listen to that voice and they're going to follow it. However, we know that if we hear something or somebody says something that is counter to the word of God, counter to the Bible, well, then we know it comes from an evil spirit. We know it comes from the other side, and we know not to listen to it.
But
because
you're saying it would be saying stuff that would be in line with what you think your God would be saying. If you're like, hey, it's Jesus. How you doing? All right, check it out. Look. It's tribulation time. All right, I'm coming back in the sky. There's going to be an antichrist, all this type of stuff. So get ready. All right. Now, what I'm going to need you to do is, and then go from there. Like they're going to go with whatever he says because he's saying the right stuff, isn't he? I guess it depends on whose doctrine and everything. Like, no, hold on now. I'm a pre-tribber, okay? We haven't been raptured yet, so this is, you got to be the devil. Like, how does this work? Like, only the post-trib people are like, yep, Jesus' voice is in my head because we don't get raptured up until after all this stuff. So, yep, this all makes perfect sense. Like, they're the only ones that are following.
All things must be compared with Scripture, okay? All spirits must be tested with the name of Jesus Christ. If something comes to you and says, hey, I'm this or I'm that, listen to me, follow me. You say,
what if it says I'm Jesus Christ? What if it says that? Then what do you do?
Oh, who do you say Jesus Christ is?
Oh,
and if it's any
Jesus Christ, who's that? Pop quiz, Jesus. Look, all right. How many disciples? 12. Okay, you already knew that was an easy one. I don't even know why I started with 12. How many disciples? That's stupid. Everybody already knows that. Why am I even? Hold on. I can't think of a question.
Anything other than what is written in Scripture, that is totally wrong. It's totally wrong. It's totally false, and you should not listen to it. So, Project Bluebeam has 4 steps. The first step, they're gonna. Well, okay, let's just real quick. We'll just go over it, and then we're gonna read the book. The first step, they're gonna mess with the religion. All the religions, not just Christianity. They want to shake the foundation of all the world's religions. How? Well, they're going to reveal fake earthquakes. Well, they're going to create earthquakes.
What?
And they're going to reveal these new discoveries, pretty much, these new archaeological discoveries. And, these things are going to appear out of nowhere that are going to tell people that the Bible that they know is wrong. Here's the new Bible. Everything they know is wrong. Now you have to believe this new thing because this new discovery disproves everything that you once believed.
Okay, okay, man, like how... If I know anything about Christians or any religious people for that matter, how often do they update their position because of new evidence? Like, that's not, come on. Like, who do you think you're talking about here? Like, they're just going to be like, nope, that's a lie. I already decided what the true version of, the religion is. And that's the one I'm sticking with. This is a lie from the pit of hell. Like, that's, like, of course, what's going to happen. They how often have we ever seen Christians change their mind due to like new evidence that like such actually your religion's different, and they're like, oh, I guess I got to change it then? No, that never happens ever.
Okay, and that's where they're going with this. And then they're also going to do a massive 3D hologram sky show.
Skeptically pissed, like, finally, angel fossils. Yeah, that'll do it right there. Like, well, we got to update our belief system because of they found angel fossils now, which means that our religion's been wrong this entire time.
Basically projected from satellites all over the world are going to show these massive displays of whatever religious leader you want in the sky, and then along with those displays, the ELF frequencies are going to tell you to drop your guard.
They're called ELF. Thank you very much. Okay, they're ELF frequencies, and you kind of don't need to say frequency because that's what the F stand. Anyway, how's everybody doing? You all feeling okay? Everybody feeling good? It's Demon Day. That's the first day of the week. Demon Day. Who won today? Lord Dissident won. What's up, dude? It was a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people. One, oh man, how did that song go? There was like a, I remember this. There was like a movie or something. And it's a flying purple people eater. And I remember thinking it was going to be scary, but no people were eating. If I remember right, did he actually eat people, or that was just like what he was? But he's like, I'm gonna go against that part of my natural instincts because these people are they're all right, they're not too bad. I like their musical talents. It makes it kind of fun to sing along with them. Anyway, who was second? James the second. All right, you two reversed it this time. Horns said it was second the other day, and James is back in second place. Oh yeah, that's awesome. And let's see who else. Ryan was third. What's up, Ryan? How we doing, man? Let's see. Drizilla's here. All right, cool. Yep. Amber, of course. Hell yeah. What else we got? Oh, we got Kari. What's up? What's up? Hell yeah. Guitar Dog. Yeah. Hell yeah. Michael. What's up, Michael? How we doing? John. What's up, John? Yeah, we got a bunch of people. Skeptically Pissed. It's here too. Hell yeah. Got the whole gang. All right, cool. We'll keep going here. Oh, let me pull that down though.
And obey. Mind control frequencies using signals like ELF waves will send messages right to your brain, making you think God is talking to you, right?
Yeah, that's right. It reminds me of, well, I mean, if they have the technology to control people's brain, why even bother? Why even bother trying to convince them that their religion is right or whatever, or the religious end times are happening or whatever? If you can control people's brains, like, why wouldn't you just do that? I don't understand, but I guess you can only influence their brain. Is that what it is? You can't just take over the sucker?
But it's them. And we know that this technology exists, whether or not they can use it in this.
We do know that. How do we know that? Where's that video? You got a video on that?
Manner, and to this extent is up for debate. But the technology is there, and that's not up for debate.
Oh, it's not. So okay, so you're going to provide evidence that the technology's there to be able to put thoughts in people's brains, man. You can just talk to people too. Like, that also puts thoughts in people's brains. Like, or you can just words in a phone that people carry around and read all day and stuff. You can just put thoughts in their brain that way. That's kind of how they're actually doing it. Actually,
what they want to do basically is they want to create chaos. They want to fake
done
these supernatural events. They want to make it look like an alien invasion. That all cities around the world are being invaded by UFOs. They're gonna.
Dude, my mom used to say this exact thing. She'd be like, "I know what's going to happen. The Lord's going to return, right? The Lord's going to return on his white horse in the sky, fire tongue or sword tongue, fire eyes, bronze skin Jesus, and they're going to go. That's it. It's aliens. We're being invaded by weird sword tongue, glowing eyed." Carpenter dudes, on a horse too. This is kind of odd. The aliens are like that. I don't know why aliens. It's weird. You would think aliens would be different than this. Anyway, we're being invaded by Jesus aliens or something. I don't know.
Put fake UFOs in the air, according to this book, Project Bluebeam, and they're going to fake a rapture using this technology, and they're going to try and scare people enough.
How are you going to fake a rapture? how can you fake a rapture? Due to putting some thoughts in people's brains. Can you also suck the people into the sky with this? You can put thoughts in, or you can straw suck them just right up into the sky too. It goes both ways. You can either put a couple thoughts in or just suck them into the sky. What?
That they're not only gonna fall in line and listen to what they're told, but they're going to beg, they're going to plead, and they're going to ask with desperation for a one world government, for a one world religion, and to get rid of these old ways of humanity. And they want to usher in this new age of humanity. Okay. And
okay. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. So which is it? They're going to make, hold on, because they're going to make things so, because they're almost making it seem like they're telling everybody the religion is coming true. But then he's also saying that you're going to sow discord or whatever. But we're kind of already there. You don't really need to do much sowing, right? It's already sown. that quilt has been quilted. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. And so I don't know why you would need to sow more confusion. Like, that's sort of just all religion is. It's just a bunch of goddamn confusion, you know?
The ultimate purpose of this is so that the government can save you, right? It's, game over because the government's got your back. And once you give up your freedom for control,
Music. What's
well,
up, dude?
then game over, right? They control everything. You're under their control at this point.
Yeah. Okay. No, cool. Music. What's up, dude? Yeah, I said 10:15, and really I didn't start until 10:20 because it's I can't be on time. That's why I have a hard time scheduling stuff. That's why, usually anyway. But 10:15, it's a good round number. It's not round at all. Actually, there's an odd number right in the middle of it. Anyway, Chris, what's up, dude? How you doing? Crocodile Fundie. That's pretty good. Crocodile Fundie. Yeah. Oh my God, that's really great. I mean, he's not Australian enough, but he's got the look, I think, right? Pretty much. I don't know, but we gotta find an Australian Fundie to call that just so we can label him that. You know what I mean?
So you might be asking, this sounds crazy, but why does it matter? I don't believe any of this. I know. I get it. It does sound crazy.
That is actually what I was asking. I don't know if that's asking. No, that wasn't. That was more of a statement. That was just sort of a statement of fact. But yeah.
But the tech is real. Okay.
Is it? Can you? What do you got on that as far as like how you know that is true goes? You know what I mean?
A lot of real things that are really not widely known that do exist.
What, man? What? Hold on. What was that entire sentence? There's not truly widely known and what is truly, but whoa, dude, taking another take. That's where the edit comes in, man. Just do it again.
But
is this live or something? What the hell?
The tech is real. Okay.
There's
a lot of real things that are really not widely known that do exist, and we all know about the crazy technology that's rolling out.
What? Hold on. I'm sorry. One more time.
Real things that are really not widely known that do exist.
I don't know why. That's just that tickles me just right. It's not why all of it is truly. Well, he just is. I get what he's trying to communicate. But it's very much so like how somebody in a bar would communicate it. After they've drank 10 beers or whatever.
And we all know about the crazy technology that's rolling out.
Oh, it's too Frank Peretti. That makes sense. Yeah, it sounds like it's right in Frank Peretti's wheelhouse. I could see that. Yep. Oh, Frankie. Yeah. Him and I used to share. Well, he shared his stories with me, but I was trying to make it a whole thing.
I've made videos on this mind control technology, ELF waves, all these things. These are all old news. They've been doing this, since the 70s and the 80s.
Elf wave. And
the hologram stuff, yeah, that's actually true too. There's a paper written by BYU, I believe.
Wait, we know holograms are real. Is anybody arguing with that? That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about the voices in your brain part. That's the part that's on some shaky ground there, as far as the technology goes.
Brigham Young University, that basically proves that they achieved these lifelike holograms. People don't. At BYU, I believe, the Brigham Young University, that basically proves that they achieved these lifelike holograms.
Brigham Young? Are you serious, man? Are you serious? The Mormon?
That people don't even know where it's coming.
Didn't you all see that new show that had him in it? I mean, it didn't have him. Like, it was about him. It was very brutal. Damn, what was the name of that show? It was like, I think it was on Netflix. But it had like Brigham Young as a character, and that dude was brutal. It was Tiggs from Sons of Anarchy. It was Tiggs. He played Brigham Young. Anyway, I'll know what I'm talking about. What the hell was that show called? It's crazy. It was just like an old-timey, brutal show about, the old West, as it were.
Coming from. Now, I'll try and find the paper, and if I can find it, I will link it in the I'll put it right here in the video so you can see.
Oh, there you go. You got it. You got it, man. Yeah. BYU hologram. BYU as hologram experts. That's great. Can now create real life images that move in the air. Huh. Yeah. I mean, have you seen those fan whatever things? The fan hologram thingies? Those are pretty cool, right? Those are hologrammy, right? I'm not really sure. Like I don't think that holograms is that impressive of a technology at this point in time. I don't know.
But, you know, have you seen the tech that they're rolling out lately? The AI stuff, all this new stuff that's coming out. And considering this book was written in the 90s, I think it's very, you know, suspicious, if you ask me. So holograms that can talk, I don't know. AI that sounds human, yeah, absolutely. 5G.
You went to Brett Judge was up there. Somebody who went to you went to that university? You went to BYU? No way. That's awesome. I doubt anyone there could actually pull that off. Yeah, I don't, you know, it's a bunch of Mormons, right? I don't, you know, full disclosure, I don't know anything about BYU, to be totally honest. But if it's named after that guy and is made up from that religion, yeah, it's got to be bad. It's got to not be factual at all. But you know,
G towers everywhere. Yeah, I mean that's true, right?
What?
There's high-speed internet. There's satellites that give you high-speed internet all over the world, right?
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
I mean, Elon Musk's Starlink, for example, right? That's satellite systems that will give you internet anywhere. Okay, so technically, these systems are, you know, they're available, they're in play. Whether or not they will be used for Project Bluebeam, like I said, is up for.
Wait, but hold on. Just the internet existing somewhere is not the same thing as shooting blue lasers into people. I guess the beam is blue. It's got to be into people's brains so that they can. I still don't really understand. I guess like control their thoughts or make them think that they're hearing a voice in their head. I don't know. Whatever.
Debate. So it's really not conspiracy, the technology aspect of it. What is conspiracy is,
yeah, it still is, man. The making people think thoughts thing is still wildly in the space of conspiracy.
The plans and the potential use for this. So, you know, we're going to read the book and then we can discuss it a little further. We know they got the tools, and it just seems like they need a perfect crisis.
God, I feel like I sat next to this guy on a bus stop one time or something, man. I feel like I remember hearing this whole thing broken down from the bus stop guy. You know that guy. We've all sat next to that guy, you know.
To roll it out. We've seen this before, folks. We've seen it. It's nothing new. It's the Hegelian dialectic.
To the people that are more middle class, there are these things where you got to sit and wait for your transportation to show up. And it comes in this big bus thing, right? And then you get in that and you got a little ticket. And yeah, that's how you got to get places when you're super poor. I know it's a lot of people don't know how this works, but when you're sitting in that booth, crazy people talk to you and stuff.
It's problem, reaction, solution. They want to make a problem so that people panic. And then who swoops in with the solution? Well, it's the government. You know, it's the New World Order. It's the one world religion. The problem is
which government? Like just the one world government swoops in, dude? Like what?
Things happening in the sky, right? All these things, these supernatural events that have been faked. And the solution? Well, it's a global dictatorship. A global dictatorship that will save you from these terrible things that are happening. Let's pick up the book now and we'll start reading.
That's great. Okay. I think I can only handle the preface from here on in.
So here it is. Project Bluebeam by Sergei Monast. Introduction.
I love how it's like, he said it's only 30 pages. Like this, he's like reading an author of a book that's a pamphlet. So it's just a church pamphlet, but he's like talking about it like it's a book.
The infamous NASA Bluebeam project has 4 different steps in order to implement the New Age religion with the Antichrist at its head.
These are like old school conspiracy spreading methods too, dude. We used to have pamphlets, bro. Okay. Back in the 90s, we had pamphlets. You know what I mean? You had to go to gun show. That was where it all happened. That's where it all went down. was the gun shows. There's some nut bag just passing out paper or little booklets at the gun show to be like, the end is coming, the end is nigh, get your guns, but also get your pamphlets. That's right. Or it's a book that I wrote myself, actually. Thank you very much. Here you go. Take that and spread the word. They're gonna shoot laser beams in your brain. It's all in. I know that sounded confused. No, not like Star Wars. Your head's not gonna explode. No, hold on. Just read the book. It's a blue beam that goes in your brain.
We must remember that the New Age religion is the very foundation for the New World government, without which religion the dictatorship of the New World Order is completely impossible. And I'll repeat that. Without a universal belief in a New Age religion, the success of the New World Order will be impossible. That is why,
dude, I really can't keep up if you're going to just be repeating stuff, man.
Project Bluebeam is so important to them, but has been so well hidden until now. First step.
And it's so funny. It's like being in a library. That was one page. Did he just turn a page? It's like, it had like 4 words on it. He's like, all right.
Engineered earthquakes and hoaxed discoveries. The first step in the
that used to gross me out when people would lick their fingers to like turn pages. Don't do that. Don't lick your fingers. Okay. Unless you're gonna get some like hand sanitizer right there every single time. And that's probably gonna taste bad. You know what I mean? Like it's only gonna work like for the first time anyway.
The NASA Bluebeam project concerns the breakdown, reevaluation of all archaeological knowledge. It deals with the setup with artificially created earthquakes at certain precise locations around the planet. And of supposedly
it's certain and precise. Wow. Yeah. That's not redundant at all.
Discoveries, which will finally explain to all the people the error of all the fundamental religious doctrines. The falsification of this information will be used to make the nations believe that the religious doctrines have been misunderstood for centuries.
Okay, so yeah, you already read the book to us then. So he summarized the book and now he's just reading it word for word. Okay, man, this is a 40-minute video. I'm out of here, dude. No. You know what I did see? This is kind of funny. Where are we at? Project Bluebeam. Another one. So okay, I'm like watching that one lady that says everything's demonic and all that, but more of them are coming up now. Music is spiritual, so maybe anxiety. I don't know, but music is spiritual anxiety. Okay, I don't know. That could be something. I don't know what's happening. Let's see where we at. Oh yeah, look at this. Real answers and real drinks with Skillet, John Cooper, the band Skillet, the rock band, the Christian rock band. So that's cool. Also got the Council of Trent dude. I don't know. I could maybe cover that. What are y'all feeling about stuff? About stuff. We are DNA. What's going on? How you doing? Hello, everyone. Hello. What? Weird DNA said, have you heard about a long-range acoustic device, LRAD, a device that emits a high decibel sound to deter or disrupt crowd? Oh, I have heard of that. Yeah. No, yeah, I've heard that. It makes you like sick, right? It's like some kind of it's like some kind of frequency that like makes you sick, right? That's kind of funny. It reminds me of the 6 sticks. Remember the 6 sticks in the Minority Report? They would like hit you with the stick and just like you get sick, So they call them 6 sticks, right? It's pretty cool, clever name. Yeah, I guess that's just sort of very self-explanatory. But yeah, no, that's kind of reminds me of that. Where are we at? Oh, what's the other one? Also, active denial system, ADS, a directed energy weapon that uses high frequency microwave radiation to create a heating sensation used for crowd control and perimeter defense. Wow, no, I've heard that one. They're like shooting microwaves at people. That's going to give somebody cancer. I'm pretty sure that, you can't. We're going to have to start passing out those weird, those things that you get at the dentist office, when you're doing the x-ray portion, that bib, that bib, right? I don't know what you call it. We're gonna have to start passing those out at the at the protests now. Still not blue beam though. Nope, it's not. You're right. All right. Where are we at here? John said, I know a band called Skillet. Yeah, they did that. The only song that I can really point to was that Monster song that was like, it even made it onto secular radio. I know, it's crazy. They broke in, or broke out. I'm sorry. They call it broke out. They call it breakout artists, right? And yeah, they broke out of the Christian world. Does anybody, I know I'm like dealing with the comments a lot here, but that's because I'm kind of waiting on somebody to make a choice with this. Anybody? No? Do the yes, no thing with Skillet. Was that why you were saying the Skillet thing? Or the Council of Trent? Or we can watch a Ray Comfort podcast. What are y'all thinking? It's all about why millennials are leaving the church. What do y'all think? Which one are we doing? Get your lead apron. Yes, thank you. That's I love it. Okay. Illinois Dissidents Council of Trent. All right. I haven't watched this one yet, like all the way through or anything. He can be kind of, he can be extremely bigoted. So just want to, prepare for that because he's a terrible person. All right, here we go. And then I don't think this one's very long, right? So 17 minutes now. But we might be able to head off to something else. And we'll, head back to one of those, maybe the Skillet game. I'm surprised. How did nobody pick the Skillet thing? Except for maybe John that was pointing to that, just saying that he knew the band. I don't know.
Of all the different arguments for the existence of God, only one gets mentioned again and again by modern atheists as being a powerful proof for.
Like how he says again and again and shows one atheist that's dead and the other one that we pretty much are like, you can keep him. You bigots, you can have him. All right. We don't. And then Stephen Woodford somehow, I don't know how he got in there, but of course,
God's existence. And I won't leave you in suspense any longer. That argument is the fine-tuning argument for God's existence. And it goes like this. According to the fine-tuning argument, the odds the universe's laws of physics would be life permitting are almost zero. They're like the odds of winning 10 games of poker in a row, all with royal flushes. If you suspect design in the case of that winning streak, then you should suspect a similar design in the far more improbable laws that govern our universe. But first, let's take a look at what atheists say about.
How do you? I never understand this with the fine tuning shit, right? How do you calculate these odds, man? Like out of what? Out of what number are you calculating what should or should not happen in the space that we have that we can see? As long as the conditions are right, life comes into existence or whatever, right? As far as we can tell. But they're like, oh, that's almost impossible unless something created those parameters or whatever, like finely tuned it. But that's just like, it almost reminds me of that. Who was it? Never mind. I can't think of what his name was, but he made the case that like, think of everything that had to go perfectly for your grandparents to meet for you to exist, right? Then think of everything that had to go perfectly for their grandparents to meet, and everything that had to go perfectly for their grandparents to meet, and their grandparents, and every little thing had to be perfect. Otherwise, you wouldn't exist, But you're just looking at it after the fact and then going, damn, isn't that so insane? Isn't that so insane that everything worked out? But it did. It did work out. You're just looking at it after the fact and going, man, that's impossible, And it's like a lot of times at these odds things, it feels like they're just calculating. I don't know how they're taking the odds, but it almost feels like it's like the example I use where I go like you take a quarter and you just whip it into an entirely other state. And then no matter where it lands, you can draw a grid over the entire state of like Texas or something, right? A quarter sized grid of like quarter, little squares that are this big. And then wherever the quarter lands, you go, man, that's one out of however many squares there are that cover that, however many quarters can fit in Texas. You're like, man, that's one out of a bajillion billion or whatever, because it doesn't matter. Like, you're just looking at it after the fact and being like, look how impressive that is. That's one out of everything. But you're just, but it landed there. That's where it landed. And anyway, but whatever. I don't know. I think a lot of this is like, there should be nothing, but clearly that's not how the universe works. But I don't know what they're talking about here. We'll see.
The fine-tuning argument and why so many people find it compelling. And then I'll address a relatively new objection to the argument that I haven't covered before in previous episodes. First, here's Richard Dawkins.
When you come on later to...
Yeah, you can keep him. Yeah, he probably actually agrees with you a lot more than he does with us at this point, or with me anyway. I guess there are other atheists that are stupid, but...
The origin of the physical constants. Now that's getting warm, that's getting close to a good argument.
And here's the late atheist Christopher Hitchens.
Essentially, it says, why are conditions so optimal for life in this terrestrial orb?
I see. It just like went to one ear. That was weird. So if somebody's just got one headphone in, they didn't hear it. It's like, what happened? It got quiet all of a sudden. It's like, I never know what happens when that messes up. It's like whatever, they put it in like mono, but just in one headphone or something. I don't know. Anyway, where is it? So that's a horrible Lord says that's a horrible argument. I know it's not really convincing if you just understand just anything, it seems, about odds and stuff like that. Yes, Ember said literally no one thinks that's a strong argument, let alone evidence. Yeah, I definitely not evidence. I mean, I guess you could say that it's an argument. You know what it is? It's an argument that's convincing to a lot of people. Because they just don't understand the way that like post hoc rationalizations like that work. And also there's like this, I don't know, just like people in general, just like that don't have a whole lot of background information. They're just going, man, it's just an argument from ignorance. Wow, this is too impressive. There must be a magic that did it, and then saying like the odds are whatever the odds are, but I don't think they can calculate the odds. So you're just kind of like, you're starting people off on a bad foot there.
And I was surprised to find that Richard was impressed by that too. I mean, we know what the arguments against it are, and I can tell them right.
I hate it when I get those days, Chris. I know it sucks. I just sit here. Just a whole video of that. It's quite boring. Those are the ones that I usually just delete. I don't like them, but I get it. I've been there, my friend.
And I consider them to be pretty conclusive arguments, but there is something that has to impress you. I mean, the likelihood that there could be nothing is so strong, but not to be impressed by the fact that we are here.
Weed bro, what's up, dude? Said, yeah, why do they all go to the fine-tuned BS? Look at the trees. Yeah, look at the trees. I mean, I think because it is like just an honest thing where they're just like, yeah, but how did those get there though? And you're just like, that's like too cool to not be made. Like, it's just an argument from ignorance, but some people can find it convincing. Most of the people that find it convincing are people that already believe in God anyway, though. So it doesn't really, I don't know.
Well, they're not. It is to be, too easily unimpressed. At some point, certainly, we all asked, well, which is the best argument you've yet come up against from the other side? And I think every one of us picks the fine-tuning one as the most intriguing. The Goldilocks. Yeah.
Here's Rationality Rules admitting that many people...
Music said Chris got hit with the blue beam, but the opposite one, the one that takes your thoughts, the one that gets rid of those thoughts. Like, now you can't think, beam, and you're just like, I was actually going to... I am drawing a blank right now. Talk about a brain fart. Wow, this is just too much. You're not allowed to say that word on YouTube. You can't say you can't say it. I don't want to get demonetized, right? So I'm not going to talk about that. It's that potty mouth stuff.
People find the argument persuasive.
Overall, based exclusively on my own conviction, I've placed fine-tuning arguments in either B or C tier. But since so many others find them persuasive, especially intuitively persuasive, I'm happy to bump them to A tier. They are, I freely admit, compelling arguments.
An atheist YouTuber named Jeanette.
Compelling arguments to like a bunch of people that he just said, like, because it's like intuitively or whatever. If you don't actually know how things work, then yeah, you might intuit that. But again, it's just a fallacy. It's just an argument from ignorance.
Genetically modified skeptic says,
Finally, we're up to S tier, where only the most effective arguments
is
belong.
this?
At this tier,
What is this thing? Like I must have missed when everybody was doing the same. What an F? What is S though? Why is S over A? Wouldn't A be the best? And then it wouldn't be A plus. What is S? I thought S was like satisfactory. Like that was like that's more like B, like a C, but like a C minus. You know, it's like satisfactory. But I got A, B, C, D, F. Yeah, I don't. I do not remember anybody doing this whole ranking the arguments thing. That's interesting. Okay.
I'm going to place the teleological argument, specifically the argument from fine-tuning. Given its high intuitiveness, its ability to turn its fallacy into a cheap victory to some, its incredible communicability, and its refutation-resisting ability of turning any challenge into an attack on its user's existential security, the teleological argument belongs in S tier.
Alex O'Connor and Joe Schmidt rank the fine-tuning argument as an A, or top-level argument, because the alternative explanations for the universe's fine-tuning often don't seem very plausible.
It just seems a bit less plausible. I mean, it tells us something's, I don't know, something's up, something's going on, something strange about our universe, maybe. Something about the universe is in a way that it could very easily have not been,
At least epistemic.
that seems difficult to explain.
Yeah.
Then
That it could easily have not been, but it isn't not. It is. So I never understand it. Like, but it could be not. Okay, but then there'd be nobody to talk about it now, wouldn't there? Like, you know, it's like the why is there something rather than nothing? It's like, because otherwise there'd be no one to ask that question. That's why. Like, I don't know what you want here, you know. But it is and it isn't not. So I don't. Okay.
okay, sure. You know what? Fine.
A
Fine.
tier it
We'll
is.
shake on it. A tier.
A tier it is.
Fine-tuning argument. For
He
the
did it too. What is all of this? I didn't. And it's all the same. It's all the same thing. The grading, like level or whatever, right? I was homeschooled. Okay, I just got a whole bunch of these green blocks here. Okay, that was just straight green block all the way across for my schooling. All right,
existence of God. Tier A.
Also, fun fact, this was filmed at Cameron Bertuzzi's
mainly because I was homeschooled and I was allowed to go back and take the test the second time and correct them. You know, but that's neither here nor there.
house, and Cameron and I were downstairs during this interview until we crashed a small part of it. Finally, the philosopher Philip Goff was once an atheist, but the fine-tuning of the laws of nature and the universe was one of the pieces of evidence.
Fine-tuning, best of the worst. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because it's convincing to people, like I said, that just don't understand. Just like, do you know how bad? Like, we have an entire industry based off of humans not understanding odds, right? And it works. It works a lot and hard at taking people's money because we don't understand odds. We don't even, you know, it's like hard for our human brains to like pick out randomness too. You know, that's why we have to have like the null hypothesis and things like that. And you have to be able to demonstrate that a pattern is actually a pattern and isn't just random data, because sometimes random data to us looks like a pattern. Because guess what? We find patterns all over the place. That's like what our brains do. So yeah, there's a lot that people that are convinced by those arguments just don't understand about how our brains work, how the universe works, how math works, you know? But anyway.
Evidence that led him to believe in panpsychism instead of atheism, or the view that
The what? What is panpsych? Hold on. What is panpsychism? I've never even. I feel like I've heard that word, but I thought it was some kind of Star Wars thing or something. You know, pan. Then what is it? Two different words? P.S. Wait. Oh, there. Nope. It's one word. Panpsychism. Meaning. Okay, the philosophical idea that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of reality, present in all things. Okay, from the smallest particles to the largest structured molecules have consciousness. Okay, rather than being limited to living organisms or brains. What? Is this a serious philosophical idea? Or are they just they're just throwing around the word philosophical over here like it's willy-nilly, just because that seems not legit. All right, here we go.
That consciousness is a fundamental part of reality. And from there, he eventually...
Sorry, I don't... Thank you, Trent, or whatever your name is. Yeah, I don't know why I went and looked it up.
Actually came to accept a very liberal form of Christianity that in part denies God's omnipotence because of the problem of evil. However, the fine-tuning of the universe is something that kept Goff from fully embracing an atheistic, purposeless universe, as he describes in his 2023 book, Why the Purpose of Evil.
It's Goff. I was like, if his last name is Goff, that'd be awesome, dude. He's just walking around with black fingernails, eyeliner, signing books with that black eyeliner. That's pretty cool. I can see he just wears a black trench coat all the time.
Universe. I think many people consider the fine-tuning argument persuasive because when people seek evidence for the existence of God, they want something that seems like it cannot have any natural explanation. One time when I was debating Dan Barker on the existence of God...
It seems like it can't have any natural explanation. Just because you don't have the natural explanation doesn't mean that it's not there. And it's like he's almost kind of acknowledging that by saying that it seems like it can't have a natural explanation. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't. It just means you don't know what it is. It's, again, an argument from ignorance. It's like they just have like the same fallacy over and over.
He told me he would believe God exists if I could guess what Dan had written inside of an envelope.
So what would convince me to change my mind would be for you to ask God to tell this audience what's written on this sheet of paper here. Does God know it?
That sounds like you would think that David Blaine is God.
Does God know it?
Does God know what is written on that paper?
Yes.
I can't see what's on there, but did you
I know, but
yeah, that's the point. Okay, never mind. I feel like this guy doesn't understand what's happening in this dialogue over here. Not you, Guitar Dog. I'm sorry. I was talking about the guy, this guy, the one that we're covering. Anyway, what's up, dude? So, general theism is kaput. Kaput? Is that what it is? I want to hear evidence/arguments for the Christian God. Fine-tuning means their God created strict rules that an omnipotent being must follow. That's stupid. Okay. So just the fact that it is like, our universe is created with a bunch of constants, and then they're trying to say that a God, I'm trying to just follow you. I'm sorry. You're saying like they're saying a God is necessary for all of those constants to exist, yet it's self-contradictory because they also believe that God can go against those constants that it created in the first place. Is that what I'm gathering from you? And I could be misunderstanding. I do that sometimes, not often. Okay, damn it. Shut up. No, I can hear your thoughts on that one. Okay, you're like, yeah, it is actually pretty often.
inside of here, inside this
inside of it. Does he know what's written there? Yes, he does.
Okay, does God answer prayers?
Yes, but sometimes he says no.
So will you ask? Well, you're asking me.
No, he doesn't. I hate it when they say that. Yeah, but sometimes God says no. No, he doesn't say anything. You don't know if the answer is no. That's not the same thing as saying no. No is saying no. You go, God, tell me what's in that envelope. And God's like, nope, can't do it. Sorry. Instead of you being like, it's maybe coming. Maybe any second now. God, you still... Well, he hasn't said anything at all. Maybe it's a no. Maybe it's a maybe. Maybe it's a later. I can't know because nothing answered.
So you are asking me what it would take.
I think Trent just wanted that applause. Is that Trent? Yeah. Oh no, it is. Yeah, he's on this side. Yes, that's the Trent guy.
And so if God answers prayer, as the Bible says, and if you believe that, and if he knows everything and he knows what's on this, I would like you to pray and ask God to tell you what is written.
Let me understand. We have 15 seconds left. If Jesus appeared and performed a miracle for you, you would ask God to apologize. But if I could do a magic trick, you would
It's
become,
not a
you would
magic
become a
trick.
Christian.
It's not a magic trick.
Now, suppose I correctly guessed what Barker had written.
Okay. Okay. So he's saying like, if he's trying to say that it was like a guess or whatever, but like, damn, I was gonna make a point and I lost it.
Why would that be
damn
impressive?
it.
Because the odds of getting that correct by chance alone are so small that chance is not a plausible explanation. Instead, there must be some kind of design. But if an atheist reaches that conclusion with the envelope example, why not reach it with the even more highly improbable case of fine-tuned constants in a life-permitting universe? Now, keep in mind that fine-tune does not mean optimally designed.
Oh,
If it did, the argument would beg the question. Because the universe's laws of physics were optimally designed, it follows the universe was optimally designed. Well, that's not a good proof of the existence of God.
yeah, because it's not optimally designed. There's a lot of problems with the quote unquote design. So yeah, no, but you see how he has to back it up. That's funny. So you're like, oh man, everything's too perfect for it to not be created. It's not too perfect though. Okay, it's kind of imperfect at times, but it's perfect enough for God to need to do it, but not so perfect that things actually are perfect.
This opens up the objection that nearly all of the universe is hostile to life. It doesn't seem optimally designed for life. But the fine-tuning argument does not say the universe is maximally or optimally designed for life. Fine-tuning is a neutral term. It just means that of all the possible values of the constants in the laws of physics, the range that are life permitting are really, really small. The fact that the constants fall within this incredibly narrow range is wildly surprising if atheism is true and the universe has no ultimate purpose. But it's not surprising if theism is true and God created the universe for life like us. Now, I personally was not.
But I mean, again, you're looking at this after the fact, is going, man, this is too perfect, so a God must have done it. But and then you're also going, but not so perfect that a God that it I don't even know, like you're saying it's just optimal or whatever, and it's a neutral term. Like you're literally making an argument against yourself at this point if you're not saying, because like, is it a perfect God or not? Right? Like if the perfect God creates the universe, then it wouldn't, like you would think, you would expect, as far as I can tell, that everything would be made to be what it is, and it would stay that way, and every single thing would have a purpose, and every single, you know what I mean? Like there would be no like even adaptation and stuff, because that wouldn't be necessary. The environment never changes. Everything stays the same because God is perfect. He created a perfect environment. That environment stays exactly the same, and everything is what he made as he made it. You wouldn't have anything, even like speciation and shit. You wouldn't have any of that because it's God made it to be that, right? And that's why they constantly have to go, oh no, there's speciation, but just barely, just the micro, right? Because you can't have the macro, because then it would be too much of not designed or something. It just doesn't make sense in so many levels.
Not a big fan of the fine-tuning argument in the past because I
Deep State Annex, what's up? How you doing? You made it. Hell yeah.
prefer the evidence for God be directly accessible, like seeing contingent objects or changing things around us or directly accessing our moral intuitions. But while the rare life-permitting values of the constants in the laws of physics were discovered just a few decades ago, people had an understanding of an argument like this long before that discovery. For example, the 18th century Anglican scholar William Paley wrote a defense of God's existence that many people remember for its so-called watchmaker argument. It goes like this: just as the complexity of a watch in the sand points to a watchmaker, the complexity of the world around us points to a universe maker. Now, many atheists reply to Paley
and this never makes
by saying that the theory of evolution allows living creatures to naturally become more complex over time, which is something machines like watches cannot do. But Paley believed his argument.
I mean, as far as I can tell, the watch thing breaks down because it's like you're saying that the beach is a watch. Everything is a watch. You're saying the watch is designed, the beach is designed, the sunset is designed, the stars are designed. Everything is designed. So there is no distinction from design to not designed in that watchmaker thing. He's having to like create this false equivalency or whatever here, because it's just and it just doesn't make sense because then there's no distinction, and if there's no distinction, then your whole analogy breaks down.
Argument also applied to the laws of nature themselves, which govern how living organisms grow and develop. He wrote the following: the planets could not have kept their orbits, and if the law of gravitational attraction had not been what it is, or at least if the prevailing law had transgressed the limits above assigned, every deviation would have been fatal. The fine-tuning argument impresses many atheists because it presents an easily understandable phenomenon.
Henry, what's up, dude? Henry said, what's a universe maker? Aliens? Black holes? Like what? Exactly. I mean, that's, you know, we don't know. Probably nothing, but maybe the black hole thing. I don't know, you know, like, but of course to them, they're going to say that anything that causes the universe, anything that we learn, right? This is why I always have to take it back to, look, gods are made up. If there is something that caused the universe, some kind of like higher power thing or whatever, that's not your God. Let's be real here. They're always doing this, where they're just like, even if that were the case that something did like cause us to exist on purpose, or cause the universe to exist, or life or something on planet just to like study it or something, whatever. That doesn't mean it's your God. Your God's something different. Okay. So even if we get past the deist version of like the cause of the universe thing, you still have so much work to do to prove that it's your thing. But you know, they're always just going to say that it is their thing. And all of them are going to say it's their thing, no matter if they're Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, you know, you name it. They're going to say that their thing is what caused the universe. But anyway, that's just a side point there. But
Phenomenon that naturally points to God, i.e. fine-tuning for laws that produce intelligent embodied life, something that cries out for an explanation. In contrast to other arguments, many people don't intuitively see the need
Weed Bro's got to take off. All right, Weed Bro, take it easy, dude. Have a great day. All right.
to explain the existence of contingent objects or changing things. And when it comes to morality, people often retreat to subjectivism to remove a phenomena, namely objective morality or moral facts, that needs to be explained. But the fact of fine-tuning cannot be so easily dismissed.
Wait, how do we get? Okay. Oh, he's saying that subjectivism dismisses the realm of objective fact as it applies to morality. It just like breezed over like the moral argument, it seems.
Luke Barnes and Drake Lewis argue for the fact of fine-tuning in their book, A Fortunate Universe. And they agree on this fact about the universe, even though Barnes is a theist and Lewis is an atheist. People just naturally marvel at the idea of our universe beating such fantastic odds against it having life, and that it's easy for them to see a larger plan explaining all of that.
Again, we don't know. Like, there's so much we don't know. You know, it's so strange to me where they're like, oh, we're beating the odds. We don't know if we're beating any odds. Like, we don't know what the odds are. We don't know how to calculate what out of what, because we don't know. Like, we can't look at every single universe, every single star to see like if there is any, like the ones that are right around us are not, like, don't seem to be able to have life or whatever. But what if they have like other stuff, right, that is not life but is just as seemingly impossible, right, with their conditions? And then what? And then it could go on infinitely. I don't know. And it's just like, here's what I would say too. If in fact the universe is infinite, I tend to think it might be. People, disagree with this. But I would say that, I kind of always figured that could be the case easily, that the universe just goes on forever, right? And if we're calculating out of infinity, then Earth or whatever is not only possible, or if it is possible, it's not only probable, it's inevitable, because we're calculating out of infinity. You know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to get 100,000 head coin flips in a row, you could say that's literally impossible. But if you're given an infinite amount of flips to try, an infinite amount of attempts, then it's inevitable. You're going to definitely, at some point in that infinite line, you're going to get the 100,000 head flips in a row. So anyway, I don't know. But for me, I'm just like, I don't know. There's too much we don't know to start calculating odds out of stuff and everything. I don't know. But that's just me. Whatever. Maybe I'm way off. I feel like I've never heard anybody refute that. Well, we do have a math pick here. Math pick. Am I way off on my numbers here? What's up? How you doing, man? I gotta get you back on the show, man. It's been a minute. Gotta hang out. But yeah, I feel like I've never heard anybody refute that, in the sense that, like, if the universe is infinite, then and life is possible, it's not only probable, it's inevitable. Does that track? Is there, what do y'all think of that? I feel like I've never heard anybody like actually say, nope, that's not right. But I don't know.
And as I noted earlier, the alternatives to design don't seem very compelling. An infinite multiverse creates its own issues and makes any kind of explanation absurd.
Sweet.
Consider the poker example I raised earlier. You could explain away 10 royal flushes in a row as something that is bound to happen, or even bound to happen an infinite number of times if we live in an infinite multiverse. But in order to explain away the improbability of fine-tuning, you've also explained away the ability to spot design in anything that is highly improbable.
So Greg said, I've observed that people have a far easier time letting go of their religious beliefs than they do letting go of their religious thinking. In that sense, you mean like that something caused us, like we had to have been made on purpose kind of thing? Or at least Earth and sun and all that type of stuff here in this universe was made on purpose for us. And that higher power kind of thinking, right? Like, because that is something, I think it's like much more ambiguous, right? But it still occupies that answer from ignorance, right? Like that place in your mind where you're like, well, this will just be a thing that answers a question I don't have an answer for in my mind, right? Like, is that what you mean by that?
The cost is very high to pay. Now, in saying that atheists consider the fine-tuning argument a top-tier argument, that doesn't mean they find it convincing, because otherwise they wouldn't be atheists. There are a fair number of objections to the argument that I've covered in a previous episode that I'll link in the description below, so I won't go into detail here. However, there is one objection I have not covered before. In his paper, Divine Fine-Tuning versus Electrons in Love, Neil Sinababu reframes the fine-tuning argument and says that it's not life forms like you and I.
Yeah, and Greg said it doesn't get more ambiguous than that. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, and that's the thing. It's like you can't know. See, what religion does is religion pretends to know the answers to questions that I think we all have thought, but we don't have the answers for, right? And so it's easy to get rid of that because you're like, okay, well, all these people are pretending to know stuff they couldn't possibly know. And they just sound like they're making up stories and they're just whatever. So like I can distance myself from that, but the question's still there, right? So a lot of people, in order to satisfy that question still being there, that to satisfy that discomfort, they go, well, there must be a higher power, right? There must have been something that caused something on purpose, right? And because it just feels more comfortable, I think. Also, there's like the concept like absurdism. We constantly have this desire for meaning in a clearly meaningful or meaningless universe, I'm sure for a lot of different reasons, but yeah, so it just satisfies that kind of stuff
that motivate the fine-tuning argument. But the existence of conscious embodied agents.
Question. where do we come from? They're like, what is going on? What's up with the universe? Where did the universe come from? Stuff like that.
Regardless of what they're made out of, whether they're fleshy creatures like us or some other kind of life form. He says that the probability of a universe having these
like, what if this is far-fetched, but what if, because of the way the sun reflects on our planet or whatever, and maybe it doesn't reflect on other planets, what if there's like life all over all the other planets, right? But because they have like a different makeup, we can't see them. You ever think of that? And so when we send our little probes over there to check, we're looking at light. We've created contraptions to like perceive light as our eyes perceive light, but that's not how the other creatures on those planets are perceived. They're not perceived the same way our eyes do. So our little contraptions aren't picking anything up. What about that? What if that? Yeah. Gotcha. Mind blown. I know. I'm pretty incredible. I'm kind of impressed with myself sometimes,
Kinds of conscious agents may not be that low, because if so-called psychophysical laws of the universe were different, then even universes that only have hydrogen atoms.
That's so good. Who is it? Oh, We Are DNA. So fine tuning. Oh, that's good. That's good. Like tunes, like Toontown. I like that. I think I'm going to change the title. I'm going to change the title of this to that. Thank you for giving me the title there. I never know, what to cover. It's just always having fun with Fundie Tube until somebody in the chat says something clever, because it's probably not going to come from me. I'm going to be honest.
Atoms, because they have different constants in the laws of physics. Even if it only had hydrogen atoms, it might still have conscious agents if there were different psychophysical laws that govern how consciousness comes to be. He writes, under more mind-friendly psychophysical laws, protons and electrons themselves could have minds like ours. These laws could dictate that these particles have sensory experiences of all the forces other particles exert on them, with the forces most strongly affecting them giving rise to the psychology of belief and then intentional action. Protons and electrons could yearn to be together, feeling delight at the presence of the other as their opposite charges drew them closer. When they formed up.
Oh man, where's this Pixar Disney movie, man? I need to see it. About the protons and electrons. They're just, they're in love. They're in love, and that's why they yearn to be together. Jesus Christ, what the hell are you talking about, man? No. This reminds me of like when people say, well, a universe that's not being perceived by something that understands isn't a universe at all, or something, right? And so that's why we developed to observe the universe, because the universe wants to be observed by something that observes with consciousness or whatever, right? So like we are the end result of the universe doing what it has to do just because it wants to be perceived.
The hydrogen atom, they could fall in love.
I think they're taking a lot of liberties there with logic there. So
now one response is to say that this is just impossible. Just because you can form an image of something in your mind, that doesn't mean the image you form could really happen or that it's metaphysically possible. We can imagine
psychophysical. I don't know. I don't. Psychophysical. That's where you like when Dahmer goes in to have his balls cradled by the doctor and told to look to the side and cough. That's psychophysical.
And going back in time and changing the past of our own timeline. But that creates impossible contradictions. Likewise, imagining conscious electrons in a universe without fine-tuned physical laws doesn't mean that this state of affairs could actually happen. Or it doesn't mean
you're just saying like that because what if isn't the whole point of consciousness is that it can change its mind? So wouldn't that mean that like some electron somewhere could just be like, yeah, I don't feel like it. I don't, I want to chart my own course. Thank you very much. So I'm not going to be attracted to protons. I'm going to be attracted to other electrons. I'm gay. Okay. I'm a gay electron.
I mean, it would make our improbable existence no longer need an explanation beyond mere chance. Sinababu, however, claims that theists cannot say that electrons in love is metaphysically impossible because they believe in non-physical minds like God. Or we might also add to his
metaphysically impossible. What is anything metaphysically impossible? Like, isn't that just like it's impossible? I don't know. I get lost in the abstract when it comes to like philosophy type of crap. But metaphysical is just like something that exists in the mind of something that exists, right? Like math exists, but only in the minds of thinking beings.
Argument, angels. He writes the following: theistic commitments to a non-physical God are incompatible with the view that even though psychophysical laws could have been somewhat different, love between subatomic particles is...
Craig said some protons are more attractive than others. That's depends on what they're wearing. Some they gotta highlight their attributes. right? You know, they can do it. It's maybe a push-up type of situation. It's nice. It looks nice. It looks uncomfortable, but attractive.
So bizarre as to be metaphysically impossible. But just because minds can exist apart from physical bodies, it doesn't follow that they can exist within any particular physical body. For example, light can travel apart from any physical medium, like
music's like, and if you want to be attracted, to protons, go to adamandeve.com. Okay, they got all the best proton toys. All right, they got the Protoninator 4000. It's incredible. Check it out. But go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley, and check out to get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. If you go to adamandeve.com and you enter that code word Brentley, it's Brently. It is just about everything you can get. Is this one item that you get for 50% off of almost the entire catalog, right? There's like 1 or 2 giant things that don't apply. Everything else though does. So yeah, check it out. 50% off almost any one item. Adamandeve.com is America's #1 adult toy dispensary. Save yourself a trip to that store. You know, you don't want to have to do all that. It's a lot. And they label the bags like crazy. So that way, even if you forget to clean your car out, you got all these bags that are like, oh, it's me. You know, everybody that gets in the car is like, oh, okay. Well, looks like you've been making some trips to that place. And you're like, oh, no, I forgot. Don't deal with all that. Go to adamandeve.com. Have it sent directly. Their packaging is discreet. It doesn't say where it comes from, unlike those bags from the shop. Anyway, go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley, and get yourself your exclusive offer. Get your butt some stuff. All right, here we go. Thank you for that, by the way. I keep forgetting.
in the vacuum of space. But that doesn't mean light can travel within any physical medium, because light can't travel through lead, for example, even though it can
It's an astroglide.
and travel through other physical mediums like water.
That's good.
And the same is true of the medium through which consciousness can exist. The fact that consciousness can exist without a physical body, like in the case of angels, or in some
But it can't, though. In the case of Angel, that's not real. That's not an actual case, man. That's just a made up nothing. Like, you can't have consciousness without a brain, according to anybody with a brain. Like, geez Louise.
bodies, like human beings, doesn't mean consciousness could exist in any physical body. Besides, God and angels are conscious because of God's unique ability to sustain that state of affairs.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Henry said like and subscribe, please. Or, oh, Drusilla. I'm sorry. Drusilla said like and of course it was Drusilla. She always helps me on that sort of thing. Yeah. Like and subscribe, please, if you don't mind.
Not some natural psychophysical law. But for the sake of his argument, let's imagine that other universes with conscious electrons and love could exist. That does not.
Well, how have we gotten here, man? Like, what happened? I thought we were being pretty, pretty scientific, or at least pretending to be from this guy. Now we're talking about particles in love because they have consciousness and they can decide to want to be together. And it's just a Pixar movie right in itself right now, it seems.
Not change the fact that our universe, with its conscious, complex biological life, is still absurdly rare when you look at the laws of physics. And thus, it requires an explanation for why the constants are within a narrow range.
Okay, thank you, Ember said. At root, metaphysics means the rules that the laws of physics have to obey. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. These days, people often mean non-physical, though. Okay, because because I thought we were talking about was it Plato? I mix up my philosophers, but to be honest, not good with names. I need to see their faces, and then I'm like, oh, that's Plato. But anyway, his book was called like Metaphysics or whatever, right? You know what I'm talking about? Who was that? Who had the metaphysics book? Anyway, all right.
To allow for conscious biological.
I'm just going to sit here and wait for somebody to answer my question. Who is it? Who's the metaphysics book? I'm not going to We're just going to sit here, okay? Till somebody answers this question. That's what I was going to do.
Life like ours. The philosopher John Leslie gives the following thought experiment to help understand this. Imagine there is a large blank white wall with a single fly buzzing in front of it. Surrounding this white wall is a larger red wall with many flies buzzing in front of it. Now imagine a bullet strikes the single fly in front of the white wall. We can plausibly attribute this rare event to a marksman's design and not just chance, even though the odds of any fly getting hit is high if we include the flies in front of the red wall. In this analogy, the red wall represents different psychophysical laws, where you have universes that can have electrons and love. And the flies in front of the red wall are those universes with the conscious electrons. The white area, however, represents our current psychophysical laws. And the single fly in front of that white wall represents our solitary universe, or the incredibly small number of universes that are life permitting, given the current laws of physics and psychophysical laws that we're aware of. So if we conclude that design is behind the single fly being shot in front of the white wall,
This is the longest way to say the dumbest thing ever. Like, what are you why are you having to go so far? Jesus.
instead of just empty space being hit, we can conclude design is responsible for our universe existing instead of a lifeless one, regardless of possible other universes with different physical or psychophysical laws. Now, in response to this, Sinababu writes the following. It's plausible to attribute the striking of the fly to a marksman's aim because striking isolated targets is an intention that can plausibly be attributed to marksmen. That's the sort of thing marksmen like to do. But we have no reason to attribute an analogous intention to God. It's hard to...
So hold on, we need the marksman though, dude. In this analogy, what you're saying is there was a bullet, like, or whatever, like something that appears to be a bullet that hit this fly. You need to demonstrate that that bullet wasn't just some random thing from space or something. Because, like, I don't know. It just, the way that they're framing it makes it seem, it's like you can look at that and go, well, that had to be shot at on purpose. But without the thing that's doing the shooting on purpose that you can demonstrate, it doesn't matter. That's just how it looks to you, man.
See why God would need or want to create mind specifically in a universe where the psychophysical laws were mind unfriendly. There's no reason to think an omnipotent being would be constrained by psychophysical.
Brent, what's going on, dude? Brent, hey, what's up? You made it live. Hell yeah. We still got a good little bit of time to go. So you're good. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Glad to see you, man. I see you all over the place. Yeah, I never, rarely here though. But no, it's awesome. Thanks for hanging out.
Laws that lack metaphysical necessity, or that an omnibenevolent being would be dissatisfied with the prayers of devout neutrons who ask him to bless the happy protons and electrons around them.
Just getting dumber and dumber here as we go. All those conscious protons and neutrons.
In other words, Sinababu's point is that we can attribute design to the shot fly in front of the white wall because marksmen like to hit difficult targets. But we cannot attribute God's design to our particular universe because there's no reason to think God would prefer to create our universe with embodied biological life instead of one with a bunch of electrons and love. However, many people would disagree with that assumption.
What the hell is going on? I maybe I've just like missed something drastic, but no, this sounds completely insane. This sounds like we're in the brain of somebody in a rubber room. What is happening?
They'd see that it's better to have a world where love, real love, involves sacrifice, hardship, and free choice, all of which require self-locomotion, the ability to move and choose through biology.
Yeah, that's why neutrons and electrons don't have conscious. This is insane. I can't believe we're having this conversation. All right. I did not want to be arguing for like against the logic of electrons in love.
It's better to have that than a world with trillions of lovesick electrons that just aimlessly float around the universe and don't live morally meaningful lives.
Those poor electrons, they're just looking for love, but they're doing it in all the wrong places, and it's just
a world with higher quality of moral goods, in this case, like ours, is better than one with a higher quantity of extremely minimally valuable good.
That was this SNL skit that Eddie Murphy did back before I was born, I'm pretty sure, but it's still funny.
And in a world with electrons in love, trillions of electrons would spend billions of years wandering and floating aimlessly through the universe, never finding another particle. So there's good reason to think God wouldn't make a universe like that.
Yeah, because that'd be rude to the damn particles that are just looking for love.
Even if God
could
make the lives of sentient electrons more meaningful by just having constant miracles happening.
We got to make an electron park. Okay, you really need an electron park, and you got to do something about the lines, because it gets absurd, you know. And then you got to charge the electrons like extra money, so they get a bracelet, right? And then it goes, you know, they go into the speed line, but then all the electrons start buying the bracelet anyway, and then those lines end up being longer than the just regular person line. It's a mess. It's, you know, they got to do something about that at the electron amusement park. I forgot what I was talking about. What happened?
It would be better to have a world like ours with morally meaningful lives, where God does not act like a divine puppeteer, always intervening with miracles, but he instead allows his creatures to freely love each other in accord with the laws of nature he created. Finally, as evidence that great minds think alike,
Hey, Atomic Punk, what's going on, dude? So excited for Secular Rising that is starting up in Nashville, of all places, huh? How about that? Would not have thought. It's all that music, you know. It's all that good music. They're like, we should be atheists because music's good here. I don't know. I just know Nashville's like known for music, right? Isn't that a thing? You know, it's probably because they're all crazy, messed up, junked out musicians. That's what it is. Just out there throwing TVs through hotel windows and stuff, right?
Christian apologist Eric Manning recently picked fine-tuning as a top-tier argument himself, and he made a nice video defending it that I'll link below. So that's my take on the power of the fine-tuning argument, and be sure to check out the links to other resources in the description below.
Yeah, not very good. Not very compelling, if you ask me. When Hitchens or whoever the hell else is like, it's compelling. It's compelling to people that don't know how odds work, that don't know how math works, that don't know how calculating out of infinity works. Like, there's a bunch of issues there. So yeah. Okay. And we're on to the fun portion. All right. Now, there is, because I've watched that weirdo lady a million times now, like others are coming up now. It's great. So there's some other weirdo lady that says that music is spiritual, and well, just wait and see. Just wait and watch this, y'all. Check this out. Gotta love it. It's brilliant. All right.
And it needs to be reiterated over and over and over again, the spiritual influence that music has. And this video in particular is actually inspired by a trending Instagram song right now that
Wow, those are some bangs. Those bangs are banging harder than bangs have banged in a long banging time.
keep hearing over and over as I scroll through my.
Not there's anything wrong with bangs. I'm just saying, wow. I don't feel like I've seen them this like straight up.
Reels. That song is called Anxiety by Sleepy Hollow. Maybe you've heard.
She's like, just put the bowl on top of my head, but just the front though. Don't do the full Dumb and Dumber. Okay, don't go full Dumb and Dumber. Just the.
Heard it. Maybe you haven't. But I'm going to share with you what some of the lyrics are, just so you know how and why this got me staring on this topic once again. It's just gaining so much popularity right now, and I've even seen like Christian content creators.
Oh, biggest dick. Nice name. I like that. I don't know if I can say it, but that's awesome. Nashville is the music capital of the U.S. 10, 15 years ago, it was great. Now it's just only bars and nightlife. Oh, it's my time. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's my city. It's like, yeah, we got nothing to do around here other than bars, right? If you don't drink, just move, because there's nothing to do. You know, you can go walk around a park or two, maybe, you know, go to the beach. But who goes to the beach sober? Nobody. That's you. Move somewhere else. Anyway, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting. But yeah,
use it for their own reels. And that concerns me more than anything, right? Because like, I don't expect people that are in the world to produce any fruit other than worldly fruit, but people that are in the
I don't know if, I don't even know what the context of what she's talking about, but you know that all fruit is grown on the world.
church that are walking in Christ, that claim the name of Christ, I would expect a deeper discernment and a spiritual vigilance that the Bible calls us to have. So that's really my point and my focus here today. Now, let me just read you some.
Okay, so this is like this is where it gets into like that ultra fundy type of thinking. You know, when they start talking about worldly stuff, I don't know why that just cracks me up now. Back in the day, of course, that was you know, obviously anybody that's not my very specific interpretation of my doctrine, of my denomination, of my religion, that means they're worldly, right? But you know, so it just sounds funny. We're like, oh, you can only have worldly fruit. It's like, yeah, but it's just that some, I hate to use the word, but like it is some brainwashy type of stuff. When you say, oh, that's very worldly, you know, that it's basically saying like, oh, the world is being blinded by the devil and all this. Everybody but you, you know, and the people in your specific in group got it right. Everybody else is worldly and being deceived by the prince of the power of the air of this world, you know, the devil, right?
Some of these lyrics, it says, somebody's watching me. It's my anxiety. Look, SHIT got me tripping.
Biggest things is it's a reference to a Monty Python skit from The Life of Brian. That's so funny. I literally almost watched that like a day ago, and we almost clicked it. And then we didn't. And we watched some weird horror movie that's I don't even want to describe again, because then I won't be able to sleep for another 3 days. But we didn't end up watching it. It's you know, what I've seen of it is really pretty funny. I really got to go back and watch it.
Fighting with my demons, and my demons is winning. Okay, so I don't want to like read the whole song out. I just this is like the little portion.
Okay, yeah, you know, so there are these things called what do they call them? Metaphors. Yeah, there's these metaphor thingies that people use when they're talking about stuff, and even more so in art and poetry and songs. Yeah, they tend to
line that I keep hearing clipped in reels. And yeah, I just hate it.
Yeah,
I rebuke all of that. So my goal today is to
she rebukes all of it, not just a bit, not just a portion of piece. No, she rebukes the entire thing in its entirety.
expose the spiritual implications of this kind of music, to back it up to scripture, and finally call y'all to spiritual vigilance and freedom. And look, maybe you're someone that's actually not a Christian and you stumbled upon
Brent's like kids these days with the hip and hopping with the hip and happening music. Yeah, no, she probably got in the 1950s. I know, right? That's what she looks like. Well, she looks like she's caught between the 1950s and listens to Nirvana. I don't know. She's somehow like it's one of those like the Fantastic Four thing where future past, like past future times just are all anachronistic, whatever. Like anyway, yeah, that's
across this video. I want to encourage you as well to hear me out and stick around to the end, especially if
let's see, that's 43 minutes, lady. I'm not, I don't know what you think I am. I don't know if I can handle 43 minutes of this. The outfit alone is just, it's why are you dressed why are you dressed like Jordan B. Peterson, man? What how did you get a hold of one of his suits or something?
if you are someone who struggles
or Two-Face, they both wear the same suits.
With anxiety, depression, you find yourself in these super toxic cycles of addiction, one night stands, lust, unhealthy relationships, whatever the case may be, because I would like to present to you that a lot of what has to do with these situations you find yourself recurring in is actually based on what you come into agreement with through your music. So I would love for you to hear me out as well, even if you don't know Christ.
What the hell was that sentence? I lost track of what the subject of the sentence was halfway through. Maybe it's just my ADHD. But what the hell was that sentence? Was that a sentence? Would you even describe it that? No, it's a run-on. You're right. That was a run-on sentence. Okay, you're not supposed to say sentences like that with your face.
But my content obviously is geared more toward Christians.
Oh, is it? It's geared just slightly. It's slightly geared just slightly more towards those Christian folks. Yeah, man. You're talking about catching demons from songs, man. Yeah. No, just Christians. Okay.
So for those of you that are in the body of Christ and you're listening to the song, you're supporting the song, or you're supporting listening to secular music in general, I really pray that this will convict you, that it will encourage you. And by the end of
be convicted for listening to secular music, you're not allowed to like stuff. If you like a stuff that's not specifically provided by our religion's garbage art, by the way, then feel bad about it. You have to only listen to the stuff that the message so outweighs the art that the art sucks. Like it becomes not even art anymore. It's just a preach. It's the worst. Feel bad if you don't only listen to that.
It lead to some.
It's like, I bet you she's one of them. I'm sorry, keep on. I bet you she's one of those people. It's like, I actually only listen to worship music, and you're like, oh, shut the fuck. You get the. Shut up. Just shut up. Like you just like, oh, okay. So it's like, I am actually. Here's why I'm better than you. Okay, I just want you. I do the religion better because I only listen to worship music like a true Christian. I don't let you repent. Okay, repent. You're just. I saw you bobbing your head to that song in the Walgreens when you were buying your hydrogen peroxide to cure cancer, or as I don't know,
repentance and a call to action to really clean up your playlist. So that said,
clean up your playlist. Okay, clean it on up.
If you haven't already, be sure to like this video. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment.
Yeah, if you want to do all that stuff. But for me, and the comment thing below, right afterward. I mean, the chat that counts too, I guess. But after the fact, comments do help as well. What do y'all think? You think you catch demons from the musics? What do you think? Think you can get them? Get them trapped in your brain there by hearing the wrong vibrations, right? I don't know. It's a great question. But you know what is not a great question is it fun to use the products from adamandeve.com? Wait, did I say that is a good question or isn't? Shoot, I'm sorry. It is fun. They are fun is the answer to the question. Go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley. Okay. And get your offer. It's got a lot of good stuff up there. Okay, it's a lot of fun. And if you want to support us, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com, or you could do a bunch of other shit, right? You can become a patron, patreon.com/punkapostate. Excuse me. You can do a one-time thing on Cash App. And the cash tag is punkapostate. If you want to become a member, you get an extra live stream every week on Wednesdays that is fully uncensored. It's a swear fest. It's a lot of fun. And it gets pretty dirty. I'm going to be honest. It does. But that's, because I don't have to monetize it. Right. So I could say whatever I want on those. And it's such a relief. Holy Lord. Anyway. So yeah, check out that join button. Check it out, but then push it and then become a member. You get an extra stream every week. You also get like some of these live streams. Some of them go straight to members after they're live. So you get all of those too. Plus you get videos when I get back to doing pre-recorded videos, you get those early, right? So you get all that type of stuff. Also, if you want to join the Discord, right? Check out, I may have to update the link in the description, but I'll do that as soon as I'm done here. But, and you can follow me on all the socials, right? So all those links are below. So yeah, check it out. So it's a great time. But hey, the main thing though, is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we will see you next time.